Hello, good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight with Roger Johnson. Here's our top story. Receiving the gift of life. We meet the transplant patient with 4 kidneys after 2 organ donations, both from family members.
Sometimes people feel obligated that a relative might need a transplant, but you know, you have to be the right kind of person to undergo it, really.
5,000 people are waiting for new kidneys across the UK. Also tonight, a Lancashire father's anger after a US plea deal could hide the truth about why his son died in a plane crash. We'll drop in at the community garden where all the fruit and veg is wonky and everyone's a winner.
Come on, England!
Our old schools are up for it. Can 3 youngsters who grew up close together do it for England tonight?
And where is summer? It's been another cloudy and wet day around the region today, but is there a change on the way? Join me at the end of the programme for all the details.
"5,000 people in the UK need a new kidney, and for those patients, an organ transplant is the ultimate gift. For someone, finding a living donor, often a friend or a relative, is a chance of a new life. And we're about to meet a patient who, after their latest transplant, will have 4 kidneys in their body, 2 of them from close family members. Our health correspondent, Jill Dummigan's report contains some images of surgery.
Leslie Harrison's about to undergo a kidney transplant operation.
Are you a bit nervous?
Yeah, it'd be daft not to be nervous, wouldn't it? You know, I'll be glad when it's over.
But Leslie isn't getting a kidney, she's giving one to her son-in-law Chris.
Because he needs one, and I have one to spare. So, I can't talk about this bit. They can't be a normal family while he's like this. So hopefully when he has my kidney, you know, they can get back to having a normal life.
Chris has an autoimmune disease which has destroyed his own kidneys, left him on dialysis and unable to work.
To have another portion of time, if it's 6 years, fine. If it's longer, even better. If it's just to get my life back.
And it's a massive thing to do.
It's huge. And I don't think I've probably said it to you enough, thank you. Probably, I should probably, instead of joking about it as much, make more of an effort to thank you. So, yeah, I should.
Leslie's had months of scans and tests to make sure she and both of her kidneys are healthy.
Standardly, it's about 6 months their workup. I think they need that time as well so we can give them the right counselling and education throughout for them to sort of decide that is the right thing for them to do.
OK, I'll see you later.
It's massive and, you know, it's not for everybody. You know, sometimes people feel obligated that a relative might need a transplant, but, you know, you have to be the right kind of person to undergo it, really.
Leslie's operation uses keyhole surgery to cut her kidney free, helped inside by the surgeon's hand.
The hand is guiding the dissection of the other instruments that we use for the keyhole surgery. It keeps other important structures out of the way and creates the field for us to be able to operate and detach the kidney. In a donor nephrectomy, we need a good length of blood vessels on the kidney for us to be able to safely transplant the kidney. So we tend to go quite close to the donor's major blood vessels. Safety of the donor is paramount, so we want to ensure that there's no damage to any of the surrounding structures.
Once it's fully detached, the kidney can be taken out, flushed through with a cooling fluid and kept in an ice box to prevent any damage.
So Leslie's kidney's been successfully removed. She's just being sewn up now. And next, it'll be Chris's turn.
Chris has been here before. 7 years ago, he received one of his mum's kidneys, but the disease has now damaged that. Initially, he didn't want another live donor.
I felt like I'd used up my luck a little bit, and I didn't want to put anybody else at risk for my, what looks like, continued health problems.
But others thought he should go ahead and persuaded him to accept Leslie's offer. Chris also still has both of his own kidneys, so now he'll have 4.
So the new kidney goes in front rather than all the way around the back. We end up going lower down in the belly. It makes the operation easier and makes the kidney more accessible if we want to biopsy it or do anything to it in future.
3 hours after he went in, Chris's operation is coming towards the end. He'll eventually join Leslie in recovery.
She's so kind, selfless, brave. How do you repay that? Don't think you can really, can you?
And tomorrow we'll find out how they've got on. Jill Dummigan, BBC North West Tonight, Manchester Royal Infirmary.
It's incredible, isn't it? Our thanks to Leslie and to Chris and to the team at the Manchester Royal Infirmary for letting us follow that procedure. And as Jill says, we'll have more and let you know how they're doing tomorrow. Now, a school in Liverpool for children with special educational needs says it is devastated by the recent deaths of 2 children aged 5 and 6. They were pupils at Milstead Primary School in Everton, which has been dealing with an outbreak of the stomach infection called Giardia. But the UK Health Security Agency says it is unlikely that their deaths were caused by the illness. A father from Blackpool has been found guilty of murdering his 2-year-old son after a 4-week trial at Preston Crown Court. The jury heard that Daniel Hardcastle killed toddler Damien Russell at their home last August. He'll be sentenced later. Police investigating gangs organising small boat crossings of the English Channel have arrested a 25-year-old from Iraq in Preston. He's suspected of planning the movement of migrants across Europe. An Iranian was arrested during a similar operation in May. The road where a Liverpool couple drowned during flooding last year was again underwater last night. This time a new alert system closed off a section of Queen's Drive, which runs under a railway bridge. Elaine and Philip Marco died when they were trapped in their car. The father of a Lancashire aid worker who died in a plane crash in 2019 has criticised a deal which means that the plane's manufacturer won't face a trial. Sam Pegram from Penwitham was one of 364 people who died when 2 Boeing aircraft crashed in the space of 8 months. Sam's dad is worried that the truth about Boeing's failures may not now be revealed, as Jonas Muller reports.
Sam Pegram was one of 346 people killed after 2 identical crashes involving the Boeing 737 MAX. This time last year, a coroner found that he was unlawfully killed. But Mark Pegram says Boeing's decision to plead guilty to a fraud charge over the approval of the plane before the crash doesn't give families what they want.
There's zero accountability for the deaths. The deaths aren't even mentioned. So we'll be arguing that he should throw that plea deal out. Take it to court.
Sam was 25 and a humanitarian aid worker. He was on a flight from Addis Ababa to Kenya when it crashed shortly after takeoff in 2019.
You don't feel you can properly move on with your life without justice, without accountability.
In 2021, prosecutors charged Boeing with conspiracy to defraud regulators over its flight control system, which was implicated in both crashes. The company agreed to pay $2.5 billion in fines and compensation to avoid a trial and prosecution. But there would be a 3-year probationary period of increased monitoring and reporting. In January of this year, a door panel flew off a new 737 MAX plane during an Alaska Airlines flight and raised questions over the company's attitude to safety. The US Department of Justice found Boeing had violated the terms of their agreement.
It caused people, the flying public, the media, the government, to turn their attention to what the heck is going on at Boeing.
A decision to plead guilty is hugely significant. Since the crash, Sam's parents have started helping humanitarian causes and have set up a charity in his name.
It's a nice and welcome distraction to be able to do positive things and, touch people's lives and, carry on the humanitarian effort that Sam had dedicated his life to.
Jonas Muller, BBC North West Tonight.
Mark Pegram there, remembering his son, Sam. Now, care home staff have told a BBC North West investigation that they are increasingly unable to cope with the pressures of the job. 1 in 6 care homes here either requires improvement or is inadequate. We were talking about this on the programme last night, you might remember. And the second of Dan O'Donoghue's reports begins at a home which does provide good care.
Are we all having fun?
Every Monday, it's dance class at this Ramsbottom care home. The care here has received a good rating from the Care Quality Commission.
Shall we have a dance later?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Why not?
What are you having done to your hair today?
I don't know.
A shampoo and set with a bit of green down the middle.
If we can try and change the perspective of what care homes are about, you know, living life, being independent, because I think that's what they're afraid of. You know, if I go into a care home, I'm not allowed to leave again. You know, I have to do what I'm being told. It's not like that at all. And I think it's really, really important to change that perspective of it.
But the care sector is under increasing pressure.
But we're very short of staff. If I give you an idea, across England, 152,000 vacancies. And by 2035, we need 440,000 extra staff into social care. So that's why it's important this new government tackles it. I think the staff are pressured, particularly over COVID, and we are short. So people are working longer shifts and working harder to fill the gaps. And as I say, it's a very challenging time because the population is growing and the workforce is shrinking.
Staff from another North West care home agreed to talk to me about their concerns around standards where they work. We've disguised their voices as they feared they would lose their jobs for speaking out.
I'm employed as a housekeeper, but I end up doing like 10 different jobs that are not in my job description, and I don't mind because I'm helping the residents and their needs have to come first. I've had to go and run to find someone to help me with people that have actually moved and managed to get halfway across the room, and I'm not trained to lift or move them.
Their care home is rated good, but a carer who works there says a change of management has led to a decline in the quality of care.
If there is an accident, say a resident fell over, it could be a safeguarding issue, but those safeguarding forms are just being left in a drawer and forgotten about. People just don't want to stay anymore, more so now because you're not appreciated. The managers just want to maximise profits.
Both staff members want the CQC to change the way they inspect.
When we know they're coming in, they're like, move this here and do this a certain way and everything has to appear to be above board and kosher, when it's generally not. 9 times out of 10, there is stuff that goes under the radar.
A Lancashire care home manager who has worked in the industry for the last 30 years and runs a home rated good by the CQC, backed calls for reform.
Coming out to do an inspection is a ludicrous idea because you can come out on one day and everything can be great. You come out on another day, it'll be out to a disaster that you're looking at. I think that we should have a close relationship with our inspectors and we shouldn't fear them to the extent that we do.
The CQC told us that they work hard to minimise the impact on care providers while doing everything in their power to ensure people receive good quality, safe care. The regulators said they are reviewing and enhancing the training given to CQC staff to protect the welfare of providers following an inspection. Dan O'Donoghue, BBC North West Tonight.
Now, if you live in Greater Manchester, you will recognise these. And Greater Manchester's Mayor, Andy Burnham, has today revealed plans to expand public transport, bringing 8 rail lines into the city region's B network by 2028. At the moment, it's buses and trams. In fact, 2 new railway stations will be built as well at Cheadle and at Golborne, as Davinia Ramos reports.
Andy Burnham revealed his big ambitions for transport in Greater Manchester today. He announced bus fares would be reduced on the B network in the new year and praised the service.
I am confident in saying to you that the B network is going to be the biggest engine for growth outside of London in this country in the next few years.
The Mayor also confirmed that 8 key train routes would join the B network by 2028, including Rochdale and Alderley Edge, with other lines joining by the end of the decade. And he said 2 new train stations would be built in Golborne and Cheadle.
Well, good news if you live here in Cheadle. Confirmation from Andy Burnham today that the village will finally be getting a train station in the next few years, and it's hoped it will be a big boost to the area and improve transport links to nearby Stockport and also improve connectivity on the Mid-Cheshire line as well.
It will make people more going to Cheadle, right? It will
you know, boost the attraction in Cheadle. Hopefully more people, you know, hopefully it'll be busier.
I've lived here for 10 years, and in those 10 years, they've said we're going to get a train station. So I believe it when I see it.
A bit more verve and vibe to the village, which will be very nice.
Big ambitions come with a big price tag, so can this be achieved?
It's great to see some integration coming into transport in the region because the region's growing and it needs that connectivity. There is the big question about where's the money going to come from. Some really big infrastructure works needed, and that's expensive.
Andy Burnham also said business cases for new tram as well as tram train lines were being developed as a priority. This map shows how the Metrolink service could be expanded, with plans for new lines in Stockport, Haywood, Middleton and Bolton.
I am thinking of an underground line, a metro line that you would see in a city of our size anywhere else in Europe.
It's an ambition he'll share with the new Transport Secretary Louise Hay when he meets her in Oldham tomorrow. Davinia Ramos, BBC North West Tonight, Manchester.
Right, let's move on to sport. Apparently there's a football match on this evening.
Just a little one, right?
Richard's here. England are playing. Don't switch over yet. It doesn't kick off till 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
There'll be a handful of local players, more than a handful to be fair, right at the centre of this.
Without a doubt, Roger, as you know, many of Gareth Southgate's key players are from the Northwest or from clubs in our region. Of course, pubs, clubs and homes across the region as well will be packed with England fans cheering on the team against the Netherlands tonight. For young fans who've watched one of their own lead the way in Germany, it is extra special. Now that's how to get excited about England. Part of growing anticipation across the region. Not least in the Stockport area, where 3 of England's young players went to school within 5 miles of each other. Phil Foden, Kobbie Mainoo and Cole Palmer. It all began for the Chelsea star.
Got his yearbook here, the class of 2013 and Cole's entry here, and I think what's particularly powerful is the fact that Cole had recognised at such a young age that his destination was to be a footballer, and he'd written that as part of his aims and ambitions in the yearbook.
What I find really cool is that he plays on these pitches that we play on as well.
So inspirational, it's like I can do the same as him.
Come on, England!
Cheadle Catholic Junior School, just up the road, is no less proud of their former pupil, Manchester United sensation Kobbie Mainoo.
It's just amazing. There could be another Kobbie Mainoo in our school, like any of us. Obviously, honoured to be in the same school as Mainoo.
From the get-go.
Lots of boys have gone on to play for league clubs, but he was the one, even at 6, 7, 8 years of age, you just had a feeling that something was going to happen, you know.
Kick in the quarter-finals, with Trent very much an inspiration to youngsters at his old school.
Trent is a role model and an inspiration for all of our children. His family are an inspiration to families in our school community.
Trent will probably score again. Southgate should put Trent at right back. I think England's going to win.
Growing belief that could well have... So many players to be proud of, aren't there? Now, not much over an hour to go, as you know, before kick-off. So let's get a flavour of how people are feeling. Phil McCann is with some families gathering to cheer on England in Blakemere Village near Northwich. What's the mood like there, Phil? Confident or a bit nervy?
Smells of burgers and beer, Richard. Hello from Blakemere. Right, let's get in amongst it, shall we? We've got 2 gentlemen over here called George, looking very good for 2,000 years old. How are you feeling, George? Nervous. How are you feeling, George? Nervous. OK, great. Well, that's them. Let's have a chat now to some professional international footballers, shall we? There are some here, believe it or not, walking footballers from Northwich walking football team. Hi, guys. I think you've got about 10 pints there in that one big cup, glass. Just tell me, you will know how they're feeling in that dressing room right now. What's your advice to the players over in Germany?
It's all about hydration. You've just got to keep the fluid going in, because when you're playing out there, it's obviously quite difficult. So just keep the hydration level.
Great example set there. We've got plenty of players from the Northwest as well. Yeah. As a professional football player, I mean, you were playing earlier on today, weren't you?
We were.
Just tell me how you're feeling at the moment.
I think England should do what we were shouting at each other this morning. Keep the ball,
shoot on sight, and believe in youth. I'll leave you alone with your 20 pints. Right, let's just go over here, shall we? This is Deborah, and then Deborah's daughter Isabel from Blakemere Craft Village here. We're basically in a barn in the middle of the countryside. You'd normally associate these kind of fan parks with, you know, the middle of Manchester. What gave you the idea to do this?
We did this because we wanted to work with the community, bring everyone together, work together, and look at everyone's here. We're here all supporting England.
And briefly, Isabel, you've actually got a Gaza shirt on from Euro '96.
Spin it round. Whee!
You've been told all about the history. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm nervous, but I think England are going to win 2-1.
All right, brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you to everyone at Blakemere.
Worried I'd spelt it wrongly because I wrote that for you, didn't I?
You did indeed. No, it wasn't your spelling, it was just my famous pronunciation.
Rich, thank you very much indeed. And just to be clear, you can't have a good time without having to drink a pint of beer.
You can
or
indeed.
A gallon
that did
or
look
a gallon
good.
Of beer.
That did look good.
Rich, thank you very much. Right, just before the weather with Emmanuel. Next week is the final RHS Tatton Flower Show before it goes on the road, only returning to the Cheshire venue every third year. I think it's off to Rotherham and then Norfolk before it comes back in 2027. Northwest Tonight's had a garden at the show since 2017, as you may know, often involving community gardening groups from around the region, and they include the Wonky Garden in Widnes. I've been back to visit them. Tucked away behind community buildings, a stone's throw from Widnes town centre, the Wonky Garden's ethos is in its name. Nothing and no one has to be perfect. It's all about the trying. Its volunteers, young and old, come from all walks of life. I found Graham and his friend Neil, who's also his support worker, hard at work.
We clean them off, don't we, Gray? We clean them off. They've been dug up. Then they rest for the winter. Yes, for the winter. And they get replanted next year. Get replanted next year.
The Wonky Garden was set up by Angela Hayler and her team in 2019. When I visited in 2021, they were cutting the flowers as gifts to lift the spirits of people stuck at home because of COVID. Now everything is given away. The vegetables are donated to the local food bank. It's a virtuous circle.
Our volunteers that are here for their own physical and mental health are looking after the garden and nurturing it, are growing vegetables or growing fruit, growing cut flowers, but then we're gifting them to the community. It's another way that we can actually get more joy out there.
The garden's 3 times bigger than it was during COVID. They've received support from many organisations, and now they're helping around a dozen other community groups to create their own green spaces. Everyone is a volunteer. And on the first Tuesday of every month and for everyone's birthday, they have cakes, baked by Mary.
Mary was a carer for her husband for the last 12 years of his life, and she bumped into one of our volunteers at the checkout at Tesco and had a chat, and Jean said, come down and have a go, see what you think, and she's been here ever since.
Everything is fun. We work and we produce things for people. We never squabble. We have fun between all of us. I feel as though I'm at home, and I always have done.
Sometimes younger people don't really mix with elderly people. They quite enjoy it because we tell them things that we've done.
Older people were young once.
Well, exactly. They've not seen us when we were young. They'd be
probably just as
they'd
well.
be surprised if they saw me in the 60s in a miniskirt, you know.
The Wonky Garden. Friendship, flora and fauna. Things worth clinging onto. And we'll have coverage from Tatton towards the end of next week. Right, let's have a look at the weather. It's all important, of course. Doesn't really matter so much for the football. Most people are indoors, as we saw a little earlier.
It's a good thing, actually, because when I tell you what's coming ahead, yeah.
Thank you.
Good evening. Yes, what a cloudy and wet day we have seen today. These were the scenes around the region, but we did see something a little bit drier, although cloudy, by the time we went into the afternoon. Sonia sent me that picture in as she went out for a walk. Thank you. Beautiful pictures. You can send your pictures to me on social media, and you can also become a weather watcher. Sign up. Why not? So what is the weather looking like for the rest of the week? So I think tomorrow we're expecting some showers, but for the rest of the week it will be largely cloudy, although dry, and feeling a little bit cool with that northerly breeze. So we have that area of low pressure. That's what brought us the rain yesterday, and today is continuing to move off to the east, but we still have the tail end of the occluded front, which will bring us some showers tomorrow. And tonight, well, we have a weather warning for thunderstorms valid until 8 p.m. That's mostly for Cumbria and Lancashire. So between that now and then, we'll see some further showers moving through. I think we eventually lose the thundery aspect as that weather warning expires. The showers less frequent towards the early hours, but feeling a little bit fresher than this morning for many of us. Temperatures down to around 10 degrees Celsius. So a rather cloudy day tomorrow. We'll start off with some rain. Some of it will be quite heavy in the early hours, but then I think as we head into the afternoon, dry for a time, and then further scattered showers will move in from the west. Temperatures getting to highs of around 17 degrees Celsius, still below average for the time of the year. So high pressure will try to build at the weekend, but we do have this low pressure off to the east. That might just bring us a few showers at the weekend, but mostly to the east of the region. So Friday itself, well, quite a different picture. Cloudy, yes, the risk of showers, but we are also expecting some sunny spells in between. Temperatures getting to highs of around 17 degrees Celsius, but it will be feeling cooler as the breeze picks up.
Talking about the football, Mike's tweeted, he says he's going to take some indigestion pills, then liquid refreshment, and then some more medication whilst working on his excuses for his boss for why he's not in the morning. We are not condoning that. We'll be here tomorrow night, won't we?
Yeah.
Thanks, Emmanuel. And thank you for watching. Good luck, England. Good night.